May I now request Mr. Mohit Jain to give his talk on skill sets required for higher studies and job opportunities in USA. So may I request you, please?
Hi, thanks so much for that introduction, Soumya.
Thank you, sir.
First of all, I would like to thanks Dr. Patnaik for inviting me to this talk. It's been a great honor and privilege to be here in front of you guys. Uh, and thank you, Ms. Mitra, for handling all the logistics. So uh, I Hi. So my agenda for today it's gonna be talking about the skill set required for getting admissions and in the US for masters and basically around uh, how to get a job here. Uh, it's kind of relevant in India as well. So the job market is fairly similar. It's just that there is a difference in how the logistics are handled. Let me start with my introduction. As Ms. Mitra has already mentioned, that I have done my bachelor's I was born and brought up in India, in Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. I did my schooling from there and then went on to do my bachelor's from Nigma University in Ahmedabad. Then I came to US. So I graduated in 2019 from my bachelor's in technology. And then I came to US in 2019 itself. I did my first semester at NYU. So at NYU, I did my master's in computer engineering, and then I got the opportunity from our University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and transferred to UIUC after. So this was in January 2020. Uh, so Then I completed my master's from UIUC in 2021 and started job with Dell. Uh, it's been a great journey. It's so yeah. The I don't really have a topic for my conversation here. I was gonna make this a two-way street. Let's do question and answers. Let's talk about if you have anything that is a point of concern for you folks with respect to education here or uh, education, job search, job perspectives, and even dive into visa as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
So it will be better. It will be better. There will be question answer. So let me start with a few questions. Then others are invited.
Sounds
Before,
awesome.
yeah. So before starting your journey after just graduation, uh, how much time it took to you to landed in USA, and what kind of preparation you did in India?
So for masters, you need to take an exam called GRE, Graduate Research Examination. It and a TOEFL, so Test of English as a Foreign Language. Uh, Test GRE, it took about, I'd say, 4 to 6 months for me to prepare for GRE. And you can take GRE as many number of times as you want. So there is no foundation on how many times the test. You don't have to be particular about a test date. It happens like every weekday. So you can just sign up for it as per your convenience. So yeah, again going back, GRE took about 4 to 6 months, and then TOEFL was about a month or so.
Okay. So financially, how much say someone should have minimum in order to apply for say MS in USA? Is there any limit, or anyone can apply?
So anybody can apply. The thing is, if you have a whole lot of scholarship, it's gonna be a less burden on you financially. So uh, I have a few friends who have 100% scholarship even. A few of my colleagues from UIUC, they were completely sponsored by UIUC itself. So out of their pocket, it was just gonna be uh, probably zero for them because some of them had jobs within the campus that paid like $1,200, $1,600, and after taxes, it was around $1,200, which was more than enough to cover your rent, your living expenses, everything, food, all inclusive. So I have seen people who've spent literally zero out of their pocket, and they had a job before they even hop on a flight to US. But it can vary. So I had some people who didn't even had any scholarship or something. They paid everything out of pocket, and they took a loan for it. So uh, India, it's nowadays it's pretty easy to get a loan even without a collateral if you're moving to US for your masters.
What is the
Some
academic
people
fee?
ended up.
What is the academic fee you had paid?
So my fee was around $17,000 per semester. I had 4 semesters, 3 semesters. Uh, I had a scholarship of about $10,000 a year. And I used to work at campus. So my fees effectively was around $8,000 a year.
So, what is the difference of say learning process in India and in US department?
Uh, that I feel is a really big question. So in India, at least from my undergrad experience, it was mostly around just paper assignments. Uh, you just learn stuff and you vomit that out in exams. In US, you are more encouraged to work with systems. I mean, uh, you have to have a more hands-on experience. So can't really just learn stuff by just reading books and stuff. You have to go through a process of like examinations where some classes didn't even had examinations. It was just assignments, um, which are hands-on experiences. So that I feel is a big difference. Uh, but in perspective, it's it's almost as if even though they don't care about like what your end goal is. So for most of the Indians, it's gonna be looking for a job. Um, and so I did my master's from UIUC. It's a pretty well-regarded institute when it comes to MS in computer engineering. Right now, we're ranked like 4 in US uh, by US News. But even they didn't teach me anything that's relevant to my job. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. This school is not going to teach you anything regarding getting a job here. Uh, but that's how the stuff is. It's more oriented towards research. Uh, but yeah, you have to put in your own efforts for looking for a job. And that's the experience that everybody in my circle has experienced. So it's not just me. Um, yeah, but that's how it is.
Yeah. So you have seen a teacher in India and you have also interacted a teacher in US. So can you
Mhm.
compare briefly?
Eh, In India, if you are connected to your professor, you can get more time out of them. Like you can get more of a one-to-one experience. In US, uh, unless you're going to a private school that has a very small class size, uh, it's going to be difficult to get personal attention from your professor. You might end up like completing the whole course with an A, but you've never interacted with the professor. that could be a case. People are here more involved in online piazza conversations than they are in in-person contacting with the professor. So yeah, uh, it has it has its perks, but yeah, you can have like a great experience or you can't.
Okay. So what are the challenges when you arrived in US and say you manage them?
So the biggest challenge for me was finding food here. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
vegetarian,
Mm-hmm.
so that was a big challenge. I have to start cooking. And on the other side, uh, financial was also an issue. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been always like you have to manage your on-campus job with cooking, cleaning, and looking for a job. That's the ultimate goal here. And managing your studies, getting a good grade. Yeah, so a couple of challenges,
Okay.
I'd
So,
say.
so as on today, what are let me put my last question, then I'll pass on to others. What are the areas which are now flourishing in US and you will get a say job prospect are there? Accordingly, the student who are attending or who are listening, they'll get a say good amount of information that these are the areas which are flowing in US. Maybe next year it will come to India. So what are can you tell in three different areas which are the best or top set areas in US in your domain, computer science?
Okay, so I guess the first area has already arrived in India. With the onset of COVID, we've seen people getting really high-paying jobs in software engineering, which is in turn uh, moved a lot of businesses out of US and moved to India. So the first is going to be software engineering. Uh, there is a lot of shift from people in US to open centers in India. So that shift has already arrived like 2 3 years back in India. There are a lot of high-paying jobs in India now as compared to before COVID. So COVID has been a catalyst for all of those conversations to get started. But yeah, that's already there.
Okay.
Secondly, I would say networking in the sense that computer networks.
Yeah.
So organizations like Cisco, Aruba networks, they've been flourishing like anything because of COVID, and even sites like Zoom, they've been heavily recruiting engineers. And can't think of a third area. So I guess software engineering would consume the most of it.
Okay.
Um,
How about the AI and quantum?
AI is AI, ML, machine learning, artificial intelligence. They are flourishing, uh, but I would combine them as part of software engineering. So, what happened during the Chat GPT phase was software engineers who were working in on the Microsoft projects, they were directly transferred to the AI team. So there was no hiring or a lot of surge in the number of job postings or sort things like that. But yeah, definitely, data science also comes to my mind when you talk about fields that are flourishing.
Okay. Okay. So you have mentioned about the software engineering, followed by the networking, followed by the data scientist. So these are the three areas your promising careers are there. However, you are talking about the AI and machine learning. It is a part of the it's a big game of Microsoft, Google, where they have accommodated lot of engineers for the last couple of years. They have their own project on OpenAI or say generative AI. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, now I'm passing on to our other say participants. You may directly pose the question, and Mr. Mohit is here to answer.
Uh, I
Yes,
would also welcome questions on chat.
yeah.
If you don't want to speak, that's perfectly fine too.
Hi Mohit, this is Meena. Just
Hey.
Curious to know that as you say that some businesses have been shifted to India as well during this COVID or after COVID. Do you recommend still people going there, young people like software engineers still traveling to US for greener pastures, for better future? Do you still recommend that?
I would say before COVID, yes, but now companies like so the main reason for people used to move to US was high paying jobs. And that was mostly in the area of software engineering and MBA, like product management and stuff. But now with coming of all the MNCs like Facebook, Meta, Amazon, Google, Apple in India, it's not worth it now. Sort of kind of like people are getting high paying jobs within India. Software engineers, some of my friends who've like 3-4 years of experience are uh, paid a lot of money in India within these organizations. So now I don't think it's worth it to move to US just because of a high paying job,
Okay, and
because
how
you can
about
have the
people?
same sort of career in India.
Okay, so what about people coming back to India from US? Do you see that coming in future, coming back home?
I guess so. People uh, have moved back. I've heard people who've moved back. The only thing is, there is a difference in the way people treat you on the streets that some people like. So that could be a reason of why people haven't moved back to India. But yeah, I have a few uncle of mine who have decided to like move back. Two of my cousin extended family have moved back to India from US. So I have seen that happen. Uh, but yeah, not nearly comparable to the number of people moving to US.
Thank you.